Most of Nigeria's biggest Afrobeat stars,
Let's go finish the album now.
at arenas in London, getting Grammy nominations in America, and trending on every platform across the world, did not get there by talent alone. At least, that is what the streets are saying. From mysterious music videos full of occult symbols to unexplained tragedies, secret initiations, and suspicious connections to powerful people, the rumors have never gone away. Watch this video to the very end because we are about to walk you through 15 Nigerian Afrobeat stars who people allege sold their soul for fame, wealth, and power. And number one on this list will shock you. But first, if this is your first time on Nonnygist, welcome. This is where we give you the full story, no filter, no sides, just the gist. Number 15, Olamide. Starting us off at number 15 is Olamide Stanley, better known as Olamide. This young man from Port Harcourt is without question one of the finest voices Afrobeats has produced in recent years. His album Boy Alone became a global talking point, and his collabo with Justin Bieber on Attention confirmed that he had officially arrived on the world stage. But the journey to that spotlight did not come without questions. The first thing that drew serious attention was a tweet he posted that simply read, and I quote, "I don't feel nothing no more." Now, for someone who was doing so well musically, Nigerians could not understand what pain he was referring to. Was something deeper going on behind the scenes? Then came the song So So, and more importantly, the music video. In the video, Olamide is seen by Riverside bowing before a strange masquerade figure, the entity he calls So-So, and pleading for it to take his pain away. When asked in an interview what So-So means, the singer said he himself doesn't fully know. He called it a spiritual inspiration. People who understand traditional Yoruba and Ijaw spiritual culture quickly pointed out that riverside deities and masquerades of that nature are not something you casually reference in a music video without knowing what you are doing. The debate still has not died down till today. And then in 2024, Olamide released his album Boy Alone, which carried themes of isolation, spiritual warfare, and inner torment throughout. Themes that only deepened the suspicions of those who believe something was exchanged at the crossroads. Number 14, Olamide. Coming in at number 14 is Olamide. If you follow Afrobeats closely, you know that Kulosa practically took over the entire world in 2022 and 2023. The song appeared in countries Nigerians had never expected: France, Brazil, South Africa, Portugal, trending everywhere. But even before that global moment, Olamide had already been the subject of whispers. It started with his song Oju, which many people in the Yoruba-speaking communities will tell you is the name of a feared masquerade, not just the word for face. In the same song, Olamide sings about being afraid to fall in love, and many people who monitor these things said that fear was not ordinary, that it reflected a covenant that restricts intimate human connection. Then came the incident that truly set social media on fire. An intimate video of Olamide was leaked and went viral across every platform. Normally, that kind of scandal would bury a career. Instead, the opposite happened. His streams shot up, his following exploded, and his profile grew bigger than ever before. Many online said this was no coincidence. They alleged, as they did with a certain female artist we will mention later on this list, that the video was released deliberately as part of a ritual for clout and elevation. Olamide has never directly addressed those specific allegations, but the conversation has never fully gone away. Number 13, Rema. And listen, this young man is 24 years old, and by every measurable standard, he is one of the biggest music acts on planet Earth right now. Calm Down featuring Selena Gomez broke records globally. His album Haze received a Grammy nomination. Barack Obama put him on his personal summer playlist. He has performed at festivals that most Nigerian artists only dream about. The question many Nigerians ask is simple. How does a boy from Benin City achieve all of this within a few short years of entering the music industry? Speculation of soul selling started early in his career, particularly around his music videos, which many described as ritualistic in nature. Dark settings, symbolic props, and imagery that did not feel like ordinary creative choices. There was a very significant incident during one of his concert performances where Rema was spotted riding on stage on a large sculptured figure, described by many eyewitnesses as a bat-like creature with a single bloody eye. The visuals caused enormous controversy online. When he was asked about it, Rema said it was a tribute to his Edo ancestors. That answer only raised more questions, because in Edo culture, certain supernatural associations are taken very seriously. And then there was the Ethiopia situation. Rema's concert was cancelled after an Ethiopian Orthodox church raised alarm about a pendant he was wearing, which they identified as an inverted crucifix, a symbol associated by many Christians with satanic practice. Rema has continued to grow exponentially. His name is now in conversations that include the biggest pop stars in the world. Whether you believe the rumors or not, you cannot deny that his rise has been unlike anything Nigeria has ever seen. At number 12, we have the queen of Afrobeat herself, Tiwa. Now, Tiwa has built one of the remarkable careers in African music history. She remains to this day the most decorated and most respected Nigerian female artist of her generation. Her collaborations span from Beyoncé to Brandy to Drake, and her influence in both music and fashion continues to grow. But around her name, the whispers have followed just as persistently as the accolades. It started with a photograph that circulated online in 2016, in which Tiwa was seen making what many identified as the Illuminati pyramid sign with her fingers. Now, many celebrities worldwide have been accused of the same thing, but for Nigerians, it hit differently because it came at a time when her career was suddenly exploding in ways people could not fully explain. Then in 2021, an intimate video involving Tiwa was leaked and went viral. The response was fascinating. Rather than destroying her image, her streaming numbers and her brand partnerships actually increased in the aftermath, just like a certain male artist we already mentioned on this list. Many people alleged that this was no coincidence, that the video was released deliberately as part of a ritual elevation. Tiwa later acknowledged the existence of the tape in interviews, though she denied being responsible for its release. What is undeniable is that even in 2025, Tiwa Savage continues to receive high-level international attention, collaborating with global legends and maintaining a presence at the top of African music. Her song Somebody's Son with Brandy remains a global classic. The success has not stopped. At number 11, we have the street's own, the YoBNL boss, Olamide. This man has been in the Nigerian music industry since 2010, and he is arguably the most consistent Nigerian rapper of all time. He discovered and launched the careers of Fireboy DML, Asake, Lil Kesh, Adekunle Gold, and many others. His cultural footprint on Nigerian street culture is impossible to overstate. But the allegation trail around Olamide is one of the oldest on this list. It began with his 2012 song titled Illuminati, a bold and unapologetic track in which the young singer at the time name-dropped the most feared secret society in the world. The timing was suspicious to many, because almost immediately after that song, Olamide's career went from rising star to industry titan. Then in 2016, he dropped a song called Letter to Meji, and in that song, he included lyrics that set Nigerian social media on fire. He said, and I quote directly from the song, "For every level, there's a different devil, and I sold my soul to the game just to deal with the devil." Now, that is not a metaphor that most people take lightly. You don't just casually say you sold your soul to the devil in a country where spiritual warfare is taken so seriously as Nigeria. Many people said Olamide was being honest in the song in a way he would never be in an interview. In 2024 and 2025, Olamide has continued to operate as one of the most powerful figures in the Nigerian music industry. YoBNL remains one of the most successful independent record labels on the continent, and the man himself shows no signs of slowing down. Number 10, Asake. Number 10 on this list is Asake, and his is perhaps one of the most dramatic rises in all of Nigerian music history. In 2022, this man went from relative obscurity to being one of the biggest artists on the entire African continent, and he did it in the space of about 12 months. His album, Mr. Money with the Vibe, was a phenomenon. He then followed it up with Work of Art and Lungu Boy, adding Grammy nominations and international collaborations with artists like Stormzy, Central C, and Travis Scott to his name. But ever since he signed to YBNL under Olamide, an artist we just talked about, the questions began. His music carries consistent and recurring themes. The number 444 appears across his albums, his branding, and his aesthetic. Now, 444 is a number that holds different meanings in different spiritual traditions, but in the context of Nigerian online conspiracy culture, it has been identified by many as a coded version of 666, the number associated with the devil. There was also a widely shared video in which Asake appears to fall into fire during a performance, and in the same footage, he is heard singing the words, "I don't want to die." For his fans, it was a dramatic stage moment. For others, it looked like a man who had made a bargain and was now crying out. His collaborations with Drake, who is himself frequently accused of Illuminati ties, only fuel the narrative further. In early 2025, a crowd-crushed tragedy occurred at one of his London shows, raising further dark conversations online about what price fame might demand. Number 9, Tems. At number 9, we have Tems. And if you are going to talk about Nigerian music and supernatural acceleration, you have to put Tems on this list. This woman is the first African artist to top the Billboard 100, not just in Nigeria, not just in Africa, but in the entire world. She has performed at the Super Bowl. She has won a Grammy Award. Her voice was sampled by Future and Drake on what became one of the biggest songs of that year. She was named by Time magazine as one of the most influential people on earth. All of this happened in an almost impossibly short space of time. The speculation about Tems began gaining serious traction after her Grammy win, with many online pointing out her close affiliations with Jay-Z and Beyoncé, who are themselves among the most frequently named celebrities in Illuminati conspiracy theories globally. Her music videos have also been scrutinized, particularly the visual aesthetic of Born in the Wild, which many felt carried deliberately cryptic and spiritual symbolism far beyond ordinary artistic expression. What is interesting about Tems is that she rarely speaks about her spiritual life in public. She keeps a very private, almost mysterious persona. And in Nigeria, when a person is that private and that successful that quickly, people start to fill in the blanks themselves. Number 8, Don Jazzy. Coming in at number 8 is one of the most powerful men in the entire Nigerian music industry, Don Jazzy, the founder and boss of Maven Records, the man who has launched the careers of Tiwa Savage, Rema, Ayra Starr, Asake, Dija, Bello, and many others. The man who, alongside D'banj, co-founded More Hits Records, which for years was the most dominant music label in Nigeria. Don Jazzy's story is a fascinating one when viewed through the lens of conspiracy. It is said that when he returned from his time abroad, where he had built serious connections with international music industry heavyweights, he came back a different man. Some who knew him from before said he had changed completely, and he returned carrying a walking stick designed with a dragon's head. That walking stick caused a stir. It was at every public appearance, it was in every interview. Many Nigerians said it looked like a staff of office, the kind given during initiation into a secret society. Don Jazzy never addressed the symbolism of it directly. Then there was the more hit song called Doro Buchi, which featured all of the group's artists and which Don Jazzy produced. When curious people did research on the phrase Doro Buchi, some claimed to have found that it referenced a deity or a god. Many said the song was essentially praise music, not to God but to the spirit being served. And then the question that Nigerians have been asking for over 15 years now: why is Don Jazzy not married? He is one of Nigeria's wealthiest and most eligible men. He has spoken openly about wanting a family, yet nothing. The conspiracy community has long alleged that marriage was one of the conditions attached to whatever covenant he entered. In 2024, Don Jazzy celebrated Mavin Records' 12th anniversary. The label has produced hit after hit, artist after artist. The machine does not stop. Number 7. Ruger. Young, charismatic, and absolutely unstoppable in terms of hit-making, Ruger has established himself as one of the most commercially successful young artists in Nigeria with songs like Bounce, Dio, the remix of Asiwaju, and his joint EP with BNXN in 2024. But Ruger came out of the gate with something that has never stopped drawing attention: the eye patch. He wears it constantly, on stage, in interviews, in music videos, on red carpets, and when people asked him about it in early interviews, his explanations were vague and artistic, which only made people more curious. In conspiracy culture, the single eye is the most recognized symbol of the Illuminati, the all-seeing eye that appears on the US dollar note, in countless celebrity music videos, and in the imagery of secret societies. Wearing an eye patch is in the eyes of many online commentators a direct and deliberate display of that allegiance. And the timing of his rise, going from a relatively unknown artist to collaborating with Drake and headlining major international events, has been cited as further evidence, because as we've established on this list, Drake's name comes up again and again. Number 6. D'banj. At number 6, we have the Coco Master himself, D'banj, one of the pioneers of modern Nigerian music, the man who took Nigeria to the world long before the word Afrobeats became globally fashionable. He collaborated with Kanye West, with Jay-Z, with Snoop Dogg, with Craig David. At his peak, he was one of the most recognizable African faces in international pop culture. But D'banj's story on this list is one of the most painful ones to tell. He has long been associated with high-level Illuminati allegations in Nigeria, particularly due to his close relationships with Kanye West and Jay-Z, who many people globally identify as founding members of the entertainment industry's most powerful occult circle. But the most devastating chapter of D'banj's story came in 2018 when his one-year-old son, Daniel Oyebanko III, tragically drowned in a swimming pool at their home. The grief was unimaginable, but online a cruel and persistent narrative emerged that the child's death was a sacrifice. People online pointed to what they called the pattern, that in the world of the occult there is always a price to pay, and that the price is the thing most precious to you. D'banj has never responded to these specific allegations. He mourned his son publicly and with great dignity. What is true is that his career, which had slowed considerably in the years before the tragedy, did not recover to its former heights. He has faced other challenges, including legal troubles in 2022. The man who was once Nigeria's biggest international star now navigates a quieter chapter of life. Number 5. Wizkid. At number 5, we have arguably the most globally recognized Nigerian musician alive, Wizkid. Starboy, Machala, the man who gave us Come Closer, Essence, Ojuelegba, and Made in Lagos, one of the greatest Afrobeats albums ever recorded. Wizkid was named by Spotify as the most streamed Nigerian artist of 2025. He has worked with Drake, Beyonce, Chris Brown, Burna Boy, and virtually every major name in global music. He has sold out the O2 Arena multiple times. He is, by any measure, one of the biggest pop stars on earth. And yet, the Illuminati rumors have followed him almost since the beginning of his career. It started with photographs, multiple instances of Wizkid making the classic Illuminati pyramid hand sign, captured at various events and red carpets. Most recently, he was photographed doing it at the premiere of the Bob Marley One Love film in London in early 2024, and that image made rounds across every Nigerian and African celebrity blog. Then there is his very close friendship with Drake, a Canadian rapper who is himself one of the most frequently alleged Illuminati members in hip-hop. Critics point to the pattern of Wizkid's career accelerating significantly after their collaborations began. There is also the matter of his personal life, multiple children with multiple women, a lifestyle that many Nigerian elders would describe as deeply immoral, and a very deliberate refusal to conform to any social or religious convention. Wizkid himself has addressed Illuminati rumors before. On Twitter, years ago, he responded to one fan accusation with a casual, unbothered reply, which many people took as exactly the kind of response someone with nothing to hide would give, or someone with everything to hide. Number 4. Naira Marley. Number 4 on this list is Naira Marley, and this one is a different kind of story. Naira Marley's Malian music record label built its entire brand around a lifestyle of lawlessness, anti-establishment rebellion, and provocative content, music that many Nigerian parents, pastors, and government officials publicly condemned. But it was the death of Mohbad in September 2023 that truly tore everything open. Mohbad, born Ilerioluwa Aloba, was a young and extraordinarily talented artist who had been signed to Malian music. Before his death, he had made public allegations against Naira Marley and his team, claiming assault, intimidation, and harassment. He said he had been bullied. He said he had been held against his will. He cried out multiple times publicly on social media, and the Nigerian public, for the most part, watched and did not move fast enough. When Mohbad died on September 12, 2023, at the age of 27, reportedly from an undisclosed illness, Nigeria did not just breathe. Nigeria erupted. Thousands of people took to the streets. The hashtag Justice for Mohbad trended globally. Fans lit candles, people demanded answers. Naira Marley was invited for police questioning. The case triggered multiple investigations, and through it all, many people online alleged that Mohbad's death was not an ordinary one, that it was connected to darker forces at work within the Malian music house. DJ Splash, a former member of the Malian Inner Circle, had already gone public with claims of spiritual manipulation and threats inside the Malian camp before Mohbad's death. His testimony added fuel to a fire that was already burning. The Justice for Mohbad movement remains one of the most significant moments in Nigerian entertainment history, and Naira Marley's name, fairly or unfairly, sits at the center of it. Number 3, Shali Poppy. At number 3, we have Shali Poppy, whose real name is Crown Saza Excel, and who is known in some circles as Pluto Prido. This young man from Edo State has had one of the most improbable rises in Nigerian music in recent memory. Without the backing of a major record label, without a heavyweight industry cosign at the start, Shali Poppy created a wave with his street gospel sound that caught fire in 2023 and has not cooled down since. His song Elon Musk became a cultural moment. He followed it with a string of hits and endorsement deals worth hundreds of millions of naira. In 2024, he signed to Dapper Music and began expanding his reach internationally. So how did he do it so fast, so young, with so little industry backing? In an interview that made serious rounds online, Shali Poppy said something that stopped many people in their tracks. He said that for him, making music every morning is like a ritual. Now, he may well have been speaking metaphorically in the way many dedicated artists describe their creative process, but in Nigeria, where the concept of music as spiritual offering is deeply understood, that word landed very differently in many people's ears. On top of that, Shali Poppy consistently uses the word Iya in his music, a word that speakers of the Bini dialect will tell you is not a casual term. It references an oracle, a deity, a powerful spiritual force that certain families and bloodlines have covenanted with across generations. Is Shali Poppy deliberately invoking spiritual forces in his music, or is this simply the rich cultural texture of his Edo heritage finding expression in his art? That is a debate his fans and his critics are still having. Number 2, Ayra Starr. Second on our list is Ayra Starr, Marvin Records' crown jewel and undeniably one of the most talented young women in African music today. Her self-titled debut EP, released when she was still a teenager, announced her presence loudly. Since then, she has broken records after records, including becoming the youngest African female artist to surpass 100 million YouTube views for her hit song Rush. She has collaborated with Kelly Rowland, with Wizkid, with Asake. She received a Grammy nomination. She is, without question, a star. But two things in particular have made people pause. The first is her song Bloody Samaritan. Now, Nigerians grew up hearing about the Good Samaritan, a selfless, generous figure, a symbol of grace. So when Ayra Starr took that image and added the word bloody to it, making it about a person who appears to help you but is actually taking something from you, many people said that was not a random creative choice. That is the inversion of a sacred image. And inversion is one of the most consistent themes in occult symbolism. The second point of suspicion is the simple fact of who she belongs to. She signed to Marvin Records, owned by Don Jazzy, who is number 8 on this very list, and she was by her own account discovered through Instagram by Don Jazzy himself. Many people online have asked how a teenage girl from Cotonou ends up being personally spotted by the most powerful man in Nigerian music. The answer, for many conspiracy theorists, involves more than good timing. In 2024, Ayra Starr released her second album, The Year I Turned 21, to widespread acclaim. Her trajectory continues to go only one direction, upward. And here we are, number 1 on this list, the richest, the most globally recognized, the most decorated, David Adeleke, known to the world as Davido. David has 3 Grammy nominations. His song Fall was the longest charting Nigerian pop song in Billboard history for years. He has collaborated with Chris Brown, Nicki Minaj, Young Thug, Ray Stremont. He recently announced a joint performance with 50 Cent and Mary J. Blige. His net worth is estimated in the hundreds of millions of naira. His wedding to Chioma in 2024 was one of the most talked about celebrity events in Nigerian history. But behind the glamour, a dark and deeply painful cloud has followed Davido. In 2017 to 2021, several people close to Davido passed away under various circumstances. His associate, Obama DMW, died suddenly in 2021. Friends, road managers, people in his inner circle, each death triggered fresh rounds of online speculation that those around him were being used as sacrifices to maintain his position at the top. And then, on the 31st of October 2022, Halloween night, his 3-year-old son, Ifeanyi Adeleke, drowned in the swimming pool at their Banana Island home in Lagos. Both Davido and Chioma were reportedly away at the time. 8 domestic staff were taken in for questioning. The grief that followed was real and public and devastating. Nigeria mourned with Davido, fellow artists, fans, and even political figures expressed condolences. But online, a specific group would not let the narrative rest. A filmmaker named Joey Okechukwu made a video in which he alleged that Ifeanyi's death bore, in his words, all the hallmarks of a typical ritual sacrifice situation. He pointed to the date, Halloween, the absence of the parents, and the circumstances as being too symbolic to dismiss. His video attracted enormous backlash from Nigerians who accused him of exploiting a family's grief, but it also attracted hundreds of thousands of views. A prophet named Samuel King had allegedly predicted Ifeanyi's death months earlier in a January 2022 Facebook post that resurfaced after the tragedy, in which he had warned Davido to pray against arrows of death targeting his son. What happened after? Davido went quiet for months. When he returned to music with the Timeless album in 2023, it became one of the biggest African albums of that year, earning him Grammy nominations and cementing his legacy. He married Chioma in 2024. He continues to be one of the defining figures of his generation. The story of Davido is one of extraordinary talent, extraordinary tragedy, and extraordinary resilience. Whether you believe the conspiracy or not, no one can deny that his life has carried more weight than most people will ever understand. And that is our list. 15 Nigerian Afrobeat stars who the streets believe sold their soul for fame, wealth, and power. Now, let me be very clear with you. We are not here to confirm or destroy anyone's reputation. We are not here to say that any of these artists actually engaged in any kind of spiritual transaction. Most of what you have heard today is speculation, rumor, and online narrative, and the truth is known only to God and to the individuals involved. What we do know is that the Nigerian public has always been deeply spiritual, deeply observant, and deeply suspicious of unusual success. And in a country where religion and tradition sit side by side, every unusual symbol, every dark lyric, and every suspicious coincidence will be examined under a microscope. So, I want to know, which of these names surprised you the most? Do you think any of this is real? Or is it all just jealousy dressed up as spiritual concern? Drop your comment below. Let's have the conversation. And if you are watching this and you are yet to subscribe to Nonnygist, what are you waiting for? Hit that subscribe button, turn on your notifications, because we bring you the gist that other channels are too afraid to touch. May God give every one of you genuine wealth and fame without any added sorrow. Type amen.